Toon family, how you guys doing today? I'm Webtoon King, and today we be talking about my informational chapter 1 through 10 review on Hardcore 11 and Warrior Earth game. The purpose of this video is to help me remember stuff sometimes and where information is. I'm not very good at remembering stuff, so this video helps me and maybe some of you guys. Anyways, let's talk about the first thing we need to talk about. Ethan class. We learned that his class is named Jobless, and the passive skill of Jobless is named Part-Time Timer. Basically, this ability is OP, but let's talk about everything we learned about Part-Timer so far. In Chapter 1, Ethan was able to activate his skill from fighting the SS rank Snake while trying to survive. But while trying to survive, we saw a version of OG Ethan, Hardcore 11 Link from the OG series. But due to this special situation of him almost being crushed to rock and him almost dying and then coming back to life, and then the system giving him a reward of picking a class which is OP as hell, and him taking forever to decide what class he wants to pick, and the system giving him this class Jobless is amazing. Now basically, let's talk about what the ability Part-Timer does. In Chapter 3, when Ethan level up, the system basically asked him what class he wanted, and this was the first time we saw that Part-Timer had the ability to give you a class. Now technically it's 4 class. You got 4 options. I think the first, don't quote me, but I believe the first options he had was Dragon Knight, Priest, and I believe I forgot the other 2, but it's technically 4 jobs. So this is when we first saw that the ability was OP, that you're able to pick any of the 4 classes that's available. Later on down the line in Chapter 9 or 10, I believe, he had another set of 4. So it changes every time you get the option to pick a class. The next set of 4 he had, which was the funniest one, he had a chance to be a pop star. He had a chance to be a miner, I think. A miner. And there was a mechanic, and I forget what the last one was. But obviously this is a versatile ability, very interesting. I love this thinking of out of the box for the abilities. It reminds me of Hunter x Hunter, and how the ability is so amazing, but so like I would have never thought of writing down this ability basically. And basically we learned that this ability, you basically have a boss. So let's say you pick a priest like Ethan did the first time around. The priests, they don't say who the boss is, but basically they have the option of asking you to do stuff for them. Like, so when Ethan was getting attacked by a team, I'll talk about the team later, but by a team, the priest, his boss, basically asked him to save the lives of the people that were getting killed. And he had to do it because if he didn't, he would have got fired. Now, technically, we don't know what the consequence of him getting fired is yet, but at least we know it's going to be serious because Ethan was acting scared and tried to act polite when he said he would got fired. Another thing we learned about the ability of Part-Time, and I think that's the last thing we learned from Chapter 1 through 10, is that Part-Time, when you leave your job, let's say like Ethan did, he left his priest job. Class, basically. It's class, it's not a job. When he left, you're able to keep 2 abilities from the class. So that's another thing about these skills that are OP as hell, that you're able to keep 2. Even though, let's say you become a Dragon Knight, you're able to keep 2 skills from Priest. So you're strong as hell, and you're probably able to heal yourself and stuff. Now, obviously, we haven't had the chance to see this yet from Chapter 1 to 10, how he used a previous ability into his new ability, but knowing Ethan, it's not going to take too long. And this This is a very extremely skilled ability and OP for an OP character. Now, we're gonna have to talk about the X amount stars. Now, this is a very complicated, not really complicated to explain, but X amount star is basically Ethan was getting attacked by a group of people, and these people were sent by H. Now, to explain why a team, which I believe, by the way, I believe H is Hard Heater. If you guys read the OG series, you know how Hard Heater is, but they haven't revealed that it's Hard Heater. They just say his name is H. But anyways, this team was after him because I will have to explain the whole storyline for you to understand why they're after him. Okay, let me give you a quick version of it. The beginning of the series, Ethan was weak. He was a sub 10 player. Sub 10 players are players that are stuck at level 10. So, and they can't move on, so they need to hire people to go in the dungeons with them to level up past level 10 and get a new class. So Ethan hired two people to help him out with that. Eventually, one of the guys he hired ran away. So when he was stuck with the other character, the other lady, he was able to survive and get the new class. So after he got out of the dungeon, the first thing he did was obviously, you know, Ethan, he's petty as hell. He went after the guy that left him for dead. He beat him, but when he went to beat him, the guy was the brother of a guildmaster. So Ethan ended up beating the hell out of the guildmaster too. So the guildmaster went to ask for help from H. H, the guy I believe again, is he Hard Heater, but we can't prove that yet. He asked help from H. H sent a team after Ethan. H also blamed Ethan for terrorism, even though H is the one who's blown up an island. And now this is how we met the team. I doubt that the name is X amount stars. But basically a guy with white hair basically explained to us what the X stars mean. Basically he was saying that these are for players who maxed out their stats. So let's say you maxed out your strength stat. You'll be a part of this. And the team, Freed was a character that went after Ethan, and he's basically, they call him a 2 amount star. Basically, he only maxed out 2 stars, and the rest of them maxed out 4, at least 4 of them. So that's what the X amount star is. I don't even know if they call him that, but I guess that's the name we have to go for now. That's an interesting thing. Last thing we do have to talk about is the Tear of the Deep. I think that's how you say the name. Basically, it's an item that's able to heal any status. Like, let's say if you have an illness, it can heal any illness. So I think this is the one of the most OP items so far in the story. Tear of the Deep is the one that gave Armin, so she didn't have to die. And that's basically everything we learned from chapter 1 through 10. Hopefully you guys have fun learning something that you probably haven't forgotten. But anyways, I like talking to myself. So anyways, do all the YouTube stuff. Subscribe, comment down below and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Toon family, we out.